right? And I was always like, well, I wonder if this test, I wonder if everything's going to be okay. I wonder if test plate calibration is going to be okay. I don't know. So John would go in the diet room, and then he would come out, and he'd come to my office, and one time, here's what he said. And I wrote it down. It's so amazing, because I got to capture it. I'm going to need this someday. He comes in my office, and here's what he says. No. He comes in and he says, okay, Frank, here's what I did. I modified the X space to coincide with the M space. Then I made a mean interferogram on the backout fiducials so I could apply the robot. Then I ran surfeit and looked at the cookies. I'm thinking, John, enough with the nutter butter. What's the part like, John? And he says, once I calculated the surface interferogram, I ran a coma model on it and saw that the sigmas were too high. So I checked the correlation coefficient, and it was 0.9, and it should have been 0.2. And I'm like, and he says, so I made an astigmatism plot on a polar grid and separated out the x-astig and y-astig on the four orientation average, and that's when I realized I'd forgotten to double the angles. So I doubled the angles, and I plotted it again. And I'm like, and what did that tell you, John? And he says, we're okay.
We just want the data, John. Just give us good data.
Did you ever see him working in the dice room? You've watched him do it?
Yes.
It was some kind of magical thing, right?
It was wild. Well, first that room, it was crazy in there. I mean, you didn't, close the door, let the man scientist do his thing, smoke coming out underneath.
Right.
It's crazy.
You ever watch him look at a set of data?
You mean when he'd take the maps?
Yeah.
And he.
When I started with the company, I'm like, why do we have a blind guy looking at it? It's a mystery to me. I mean, I got a data print back. It had water spots all over it. I'm thinking, what, do you have this in the bathroom? It was cornea prints all over it.
We ran in by the FBI and found out it was John.
It was him.
But he was, when you went in that room, there was magical powers.
Magical powers.
It was, you just couldn't, it was unbelievable. You just did things that you just could not do.
Nobody could.
It was a magician.
It was like he was some kind of wizard. It was like he was the Dides Room wizard.
Like the Dides Room wizard?
It was like he was the Dides Room wizard. Ever since he was a young man, he's the one they call. From Powell down to Alex, no job too big or small. I ain't seen nothing like him in any optics hall. That tall, thin-head, blind guy, sure can't pass them all. He sits there like a statue, becomes part of the machine. Quadruple decafoil, only he knows what it means. Lives a dozen backouts, the peak the valleys fall. That tall, thin-head, blind guy, sure can't pass them all. He's the Dides Room wizard, he's really got the gist. The Dides Room wizard, doesn't matter how the fringes twist. How do you think he does it?
I don't know.
Why is the test so good?
He ain't got no distractions, can't see no bumps too well. Don't see that coma flashing, must work by sense or smell. He never calls for recal, removes the tilt and all. That tall, thin-hat blind guy sure can test them all. Thought I was the new Portable Kid, but I just handed my Offner null to him. In all the optics business, we know he's the best. Point him to the test set, and he just does the rest. He's got crazy laser fingers, his fiducials never fall. That tall, thin, half-blind guy sure did test them all. it's going to end.
So, okay.
Warming up.
Well,
Just warming up.
this is not a PA input, by the way. One of the things that happens in our business as a process engineer, and I have those folks in my group, and one thing that you learn in the business when you're trying to manufacture these extremely difficult optics is you want to have the best guys on your team. You just got to have.
Some people call it cherry picking. I call it survival.
To make your part, you gotta have them. Well, it's a weird thing. Don't misunderstand this. It's like kind of a technical love thing.
It's like some kind of technical love affair you start developing with the guys, the good ones. You know, it's like you always want them right by your side. You know, everyone will let them go, and they're the only ones you want. And John is one of those guys. The one you always want by your side. You want them all to yourself.
It's like your.
Don't want anybody else to have them.
Your,
Just you. I mean me.
See, Frank, this is where you got it wrong. See, it's my department now. Oh. Okay. Anyway, he's like a guardian. He's some kind of a guardian thing.
It was like when you knew you had John on your job. It was like you had a guardian angel in the building with you. And he followed you all around, and you just knew you'd never fall. You knew everything was going to be okay as long as you had John as your guardian angel. It was kind of like he was Johnny Angel.
Johnny Data.
Johnny Data. It was like it was Johnny Data. Johnny Data.
Johnny Data.
Johnny Data.
Data. The only tester for me.
Johnny Data.
How I love him. My fringes tingle when he passes. Every time he works with me, my optics begin to fly. Johnny Data, how I want him. He's got something that I can't resist. But he doesn't even know that my project exists. Other testers do the best that they can, but they just can't help me with fringes they can't see. Father Johnny and his magic eyes, in no time I would have a surface I could recognize. Oh, Johnny Data, can you hear me? How I wish you'd come and test with me. I'm just sitting here alone in chamber 1EMB. In heaven, I get carried away. I dream of him and me, and specs we're gonna meet. Other testers get assigned to my job, but I'll just sit and wait. I'd rather concentrate on Johnny Data. I love him, and I pray he'd someday work with me. And together we would see how perfect optics could be. And together we would see how perfect optics could be. Try to span the time frame, John. Hopefully anyway, Frank.
Musical time frame. I understand that.
You've got to say goodbye to John, Frank.
No.
That's it.
No.
Frank.
No. No, John.
Frank.
I'm not doing it. I can't bear the thought of going back to 101 without it.
Frank.
No, I'm not doing it.
Frank, you got to move on.
I'm not moving
Frank,
on.
it's over.
I'm staying right here.
Frank.
Can't we all just like make precision optics right here? Put the Blanchard in over there, and John could just be with us forever.
He has issues. Frank, you've got to bring the party home.
Yeah, I guess you're right. A 1, a 2, A 1, 2, 3. Well, here we are. It's time to say goodbye to John. Back at Kodak, we don't know what planet we're on. We really hope you have a good retirement. But can't wait till you're back as a consultant. We'll leave your office open and your desk lamp on. If there's any questions, we'll say save them for John. No, no. No, Johnny, no, don't go. 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 John, you're too good. Come on, everybody. No, no. No, Johnny, no, don't go. 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 Johnny, you're too good.
Guys,
Is it my turn?
I'm telling you, I hope I got this all in. That's all I got to say.
A lot of material to work with, John. Thank you.
You guys are absolutely incredible. Gee whiz. 37 years, and I enjoyed absolutely every one of them. I think that's really the truth. Maybe there was a day or two in there stuck in every once in a while, but I could not have designed it the way it worked out. I couldn't have written the script. I came up here not knowing what I was going to do. My degree, well, we talked about it, my degree is in physics, right? And so you have a degree in physics, you can do everything. Or nothing real good. But kind of anything you want to do. And so I had 3 job offers. Maybe it was 4 when I came here. One was to do, one was to make helicopters for Boeing Vertol, and I think they were in Philadelphia. The other was to make submarines for General Dynamics in Connecticut. There was another one that was associated with oil or something, oil fields for some oil company, or come to Kodak and do something that they wouldn't tell you what it was. but they were pretty enthusiastic about it. So I figured, well, yeah, Rochester's still in New York, and it's just upstate a little bit. So what the heck? Being from Long Island, upstate is somewhere around Yonkers. And so I decided to come to Rochester, and actually that's the truth. Is that my perception was the New York City perception of the world, where New York City was, of course, that big, and then upstate was about this big around it, and then the rest of the world was out there somewhere it didn't count. When I came up for my interview, I flew up, so it took my first jet plane ride. It took an hour and a half, whatever. I came up to work. I took the railroad train. And expected it to be somewhere past Yonkers, and it was. Then we made a left at Albany, and about 6 weeks later, got to Rochester. I couldn't believe it. Art mentioned the snowstorm. I started in '65. The humongous snowstorm happened in '66 in February. End of January, beginning of February in '66, 36 inches the first day. And then I guess maybe after that it just blew around. We lived on Lake, we lived just 2 or 3 miles away from here, a couple miles away from here. And my car was this big, it was a Spitfire, and I was this big, and banks were that big. That was my introduction to Rochester. Fortunately, that was the peak. I don't think I've seen one that much since then. actually going to work, I ended up in optics. I thought I was going to be in the systems group. And so whatever they were doing in the systems group evaporated, or didn't need me anymore, but they needed somebody in the optical testing group, so they assigned me to do testing on one of the programs. And I didn't know anything. Didn't know anything about it. I remember a fellow named Pete Corso, who maybe people may remember, showed me an interferometer one day, and I didn't know what it was. He had to tell me what it did, and it had a laser on it. I kind of made a diagram and figured out what it was supposed to do, and so went on from there. I got to work on, somebody alluded to it earlier, I got to work on lots of different programs, and I think of them as all the really important optical programs. I'm very proud of doing that, and the value of those programs to us and to the country is immeasurable. And I think, like I said, I'm very proud to have been able to work on those, and I think everybody here probably is equally proud to have worked on those kinds of programs. And I'm just very happy to have been able to do that. And on top of that, to be able to enjoy it for all those years. And it's both technically challenging and fun. And of course, you see tonight, all these incredibly wonderful people that I've got the opportunity to work with. And all these interactions, it's fun and there's humor involved but it's all true and it's all heartfelt and it's been just so much fun and so interesting and so challenging and rewarding that like I said, I couldn't have written a script for it. I've been with Art since the beginning. Started 6 weeks after I did or so. And we've worked together all along. I learned a lot of what I know from Art. We spent how many years? 3, 4, 6, 8 years sitting across the table from one another. And I mentioned it to him a couple of weeks ago. That's a great situation when you have a colleague where you can do your work and you can share it and you can talk about what you're doing and you can ask help and you can respond and you can criticize technically anyway each other and you have a sounding board and it just my relationship with Art has been just immeasurably wonderful over the years, and I hope that I've helped him as much as he's helped me. It's just again tremendous. Fred Wolf is here. Fred's my mentor from the original days, the middle days. We worked together on some of the early programs, and then I had the opportunity, the honor to work for Fred in Fred's organization for a long period of time until Fred retired. And it was a wonderful opportunity, and I really enjoyed working with Fred and Ori. It was great.
We'll work every third of it.
We of course moved out to 101 and got to pretty much open up that facility. Got to do early work on a lot of the programs there, and that was worked with Tom. Where's Tom? There he is. Worked with Tom early on there. Yes, we did have a lot of fun in those poker games, and I think I did pretty well in the poker games, but I know Tom did pretty well in the poker games. It was a good game, very talented poker player, so if he ever invites you to sit down, be careful. Over at Lincoln Plant, I had good old OTT over at Lincoln Plant. That was another absolutely tremendous Jim came, when I first got to know Jim Goldmark. Of course, Art was with us here. That was just a great opportunity. We did LaserCom and Bendy's program over there, and it was just tremendous. And then we started, by the end of Lincoln Plan activity, we were starting into AXAF. Where's Mark? Over there. And of course, I remember sitting there with the, boy, what are they? The lenses, what are they? The arm, the alignment reference mirror stuff. Laying it out on the floor and measuring the radii and getting those done. And that was a tremendous program, the AXAF program. And I was afraid of it. I was actually frightened with respect to AXAF. It was so tough when it started that my initial gut reaction was stay as far away from it as I could because the specifications for it were absolutely impossible in the beginning. I still have hundreds of arc seconds in my head. You know, when you go to, or it wasn't a thousandth of an arc second. I mean, there were numbers that were just mind-boggling. That originally the specifications were we had to put this thing together to minuscule requirements, and I was afraid of it. And it turned out that we plugged away at it and we did it. And I remember not sleeping real well when it was up. It was up there, it was on station, they had opened doors, and they were diddling around with things, waiting to turn it on. And for 3 or 4 days. And those 3 or 4 days were, we're going to be in focus? Let's see, was that auto-calibrating flat? Did we calibrate that right? Did we get the power right? How many ways of power did we have to be off to put us out of the requirement, the capability to change focus to get us in there? I mean, gee whiz, if we do that right, turn it on. Turn it on. So they turned it on, and it was right there. And I could sleep again for about 6 weeks until Iconos went up. And so went through the whole thing again. And they turned that on, it was right there. So, very, very exciting. Very exciting. I haven't yet seen the ST primary mirror, backup primary mirror, which is down in the Smithsonian, and I'm anxious to see that. So in this next year, that's going to be one of the things that we do is take a trip down to Washington, D.C. and see my mirror, which of course, it's our mirror, but I think of it as my mirror, because we were so heavily involved, each one of us was so heavily involved in making it. Just absolutely wonderful opportunity to work with everybody here. And the support that I've had from everybody, from our management, our supervisors, and the people, the engineering staff, technician staff, I absolutely have loved working with everybody. Just love doing it. And that's why, 6 months from now, I'll be back. That's why I was back yesterday to see the paragraph from the it's part of me, and it always will be part of me. And I absolutely, it's just been a wonderful opportunity to work with you. And I'm going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it for long. I really do. And I sent an email around the day I left that said, call me up. And hopefully everybody got it. It's got my phone number on it. I'm absolutely serious. If you have any questions, you have anything that you think I could contribute to, or you want my opinion on something, call me up. I'm only, I'm 10 miles away. It's like 10 minutes. I can come in, I can look at the stuff, and